I was a child who color-coded her future before she even learned to ride a bike. I arranged my dreams on imaginary shelves, each one labeled and in its place. I had a vision, a blueprint. There would be 2 cats, check. I would become a writer, check. And I would marry Harry Styles. Well, that one's still pending, lost somewhere between hope and hilarious improbability. But back then, it was as real to me as the sun setting outside my window. That dream wasn't mine alone. It belonged to a generation. A whole army of us, growing up in bedrooms plastered with posters, whispering wishes into pillows, and crying over concerts we never got to attend. We were the One Direction generation. We weren't just fans, we were believers, worshippers of 5 boys from across the UK and Ireland who felt like ours. I remember the first time I saw the Best Song Ever music video. It wasn't just a song, it was a cultural moment. I replayed it until my laptop overheated, watching them dress up, dance, laugh. I screamed at Niall's lines, blushed at Lewis's smirk, memorized Zayn's every move, tried to mirror Liam's choreography, and yes, convinced myself Harry smiled at me through the screen. There's a clarity to those memories that time can't touch. The sheer euphoria of that first concert, the feeling that I had been waiting my entire life for this moment, and it still somehow exceeded every expectation. The lights, the screams, the rush in my chest that felt like flying. I don't remember what I wore to my school dance that year, but I remember every second of that night. And then came the day Zayn left. I don't need a calendar to tell me the date. I can feel it in my bones. The devastation was seismic, not just for the band, but for what it meant, the beginning of the end. That was the first heartbreak for many of us. Not a breakup, not a betrayal, just the disbanding of a dream we thought would last forever. For over 15 years, they were the backdrop to our lives. We celebrated birthdays with their albums playing. We cried into our pillows with their lyrics echoing our feelings. We stitched their quotes into our identities. They shaped the language of our friendships. They were our first brush with unconditional adoration. Our first obsession. Our safe place. There were the group chats named after our favorite songs, the passwords made up of their birthdays, the fanfics scribbled into notebooks, the DIY shirts we made before sleepovers. We lined up for hours outside venues and stores, shaking with anticipation and loyalty. We tracked their every move. We watched them grow, change, falter, succeed. We cheered when they won awards and cried when they seemed exhausted. We defended them online like sisters in arms. We felt we knew them, even though we didn't. That connection was irrational, beautiful, and completely consuming. Some people rolled their eyes at us, said it was just a phase, called us crazy, dismissed the music, the fandom, the feelings. But they didn't understand. They didn't hear the way the songs filled the silence in our loneliest moments. They didn't see the friendships forged across continents. They didn't know how it felt to belong somewhere, even if that somewhere was a forum full of usernames and avatars. This band taught me how to feel deeply, love unapologetically, and be unafraid of joy. They taught me that it's okay to scream for something that moves you. That it's okay to feel connected to strangers. That music really can be magic. I don't listen to One Direction every day anymore. Life has shifted. The posters came down. The concert tickets are tucked in drawers. The Tumblr accounts are inactive. But the love is still there, quiet now, but eternal. A soft ache of nostalgia that surfaces when a song randomly plays on shuffle or when Harry drops a solo album and I remember the dream I once had of being his bride. Time moved on, as it always does. So did they. They found solo careers, new identities, other journeys. And we grew up. We went to college, got jobs, fell in love, got heartbroken, adopted cats, became writers, lived lives we never imagined. But no matter how far we go, we carry that part of ourselves, the ones who believed a boy band could change the world. And in many ways, they did. They changed mine. They were the soundtrack to my coming of age. The background music to my transformation. The echo in the silence of my teenage nights. They were there in ways real people often weren't. Now, when I look back, there's a bittersweetness I can't ignore. A warmth in my chest coupled with a sting. Because not all of us made it here. Not everyone from those days is still with us. Some lost their way. Some lost their battles. And some simply faded from the circle, drifting into new phases of life, unreachable. So now, When I hear those old tracks, I hear ghosts, not of pain, but of innocence. Of belief. Of days when the world felt smaller and safer. When all that mattered was the countdown to a new single or the excitement of a leaked tracklist. There is grief in growing up, especially when your childhood was built on a band that no longer exists. There's mourning in remembering how fiercely you once loved, knowing you'll never love that way again. But there is also beauty. In remembering. In holding on. In revisiting who we once were. There's strength in sentiment. There's power in nostalgia. And there's something sacred in knowing that even now, all these years later, a part of me still believes in the boy with the curly hair and dimples. No, I didn't marry Harry Styles. But I kept the parts of him that mattered, the inspiration, the boldness, the joy. I carried them with me into adulthood, stitched into the fabric of who I became. And I'm not alone. We are everywhere. Quiet now, grown up, but still loyal. Still protective. Still grateful. So here's to the dreams we had. The posters we hung. The tears we cried. The songs we screamed. The memories we made. The friendships we built. The fangirl inside us all, still dancing somewhere to What Makes You Beautiful. They may never reunite. And maybe that's okay. Because they already gave us what we needed. And that lasts forever.